Hi, everyone, and welcome to our May 2nd Angel Talk, our small group session. Thanks so much for being here. I am so happy to be able to connect with you and your angels. Today, I'm going to make sure that we activate the archangels that are near you. Yes, there are different kinds of angels. We might talk about that just a bit today. And I'm going to channel with an angel guest or two or three or whomever angelic would like to come and grace us with their presence. So the intention is for whatever is for us in our positive, encouraged, inspired, energetic receivership mode. That's a lot, right? That's a tall order from the universe, but that's what we want, angels. That's what we want. We are going to open our hearts to really feel that encouragement, that inspiration once again, and that reconnected energy that you need right now. You need it. You definitely need it. So we want insight. We want inspiration, and we want encouraging positive energy. And I can't think of any way better than to do that, than to connect with archangels. So thank you so much for being here. We're going to call in your spiritual helpers, particularly those winged types. And we're going to ask for each of your individual higher selves to be part of the session. So I'm calling your spirit in. And as we do that, can you connect with me right now, right here, right now? Regardless of what's going on in the background at your home, or whether you're sitting in your car and you're listening, I get it. There's a lot of commotion externally. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Join me here and now. Come into this beautiful heart, sacred heart space. I'm going to invite you in and let us connect. All right. Each and every one of you that is in this session or watching the live recording after the replay, you are 100% part of this our beautiful ability to connect. It is because of you as a spirit and as a beautiful person. So feel the heart space energy. Allow that heart chakra to open and be like a cup, like literally like a coffee cup, like a cup of joy, right in that heart space. So feel your heart. As you're breathing, your natural rhythm of your breath just allows you to be connected. Gentle breathing in and exhaling out. Be here with me now. Be here with me right here, right now. And all the other women that are part of this beautiful higher self collective. As we open up and we hold our cups, we raise our cups to be able to receive the goodness of archangel messengers. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. I also want to acknowledge or do a little tap in from the heart chakra. I want to give you guys this visual imagery of the heart being the center. The heart is what is grounding you here today. The knowledge, the information, and the freedom that comes from our session is grounded in the heart, grounded as though the heart is the base of all and everything for you. Everything spiritual, everything energetic, and everything personal as a human, as a body. So this heart space is grounded. So as though your heart is the base, the beautiful red, rich root chakra energy connects in for you here today through the heart, and over the shoulders and out the elbows and out the hands and the fingertips, like roots going into the earth, connecting you, giving you real steady ground, real stable ground, okay? You guys are all centered. You are totally connected and centered here. So like the roots of the tree, your hands are deep into the earth, and your heart, the bottom of your heart is honored and connected with the root chakra at the base of your spine, that rich red root chakra. So you are grounded and connected and ready to receive. All right, let's get to it, ladies. I'll double check and make sure we didn't miss anybody in our group space here. All right, good. Okay. So let's see, for spiritual helpers, who do we have that would like to come in first? Okay, so I'm feeling the imagery of four pillars. If you've been with me before, you know what this is. Four pillars is a way to create safe and sacred space for connection. It's also a way to provide you an easy opportunity to kind of organize a session for yourself or organize messengers for yourself or messages to kind of know where they're coming from. So I'm going to ask for the four pillars to be activated, which is literally as though we're sitting outside in a gazebo and there are four pillars that kind of mark the corners. And then above us is this beautiful like pergola that has like wood and vines and gorgeous flowers starting to bud and bloom. And so that creates a kind of a filter so that there's not too much information coming in and there's only the information that is most relevant for you that comes through, so that your mind can be able to process it, because that's a really important part of this process too, is that your brain is included, your mind, your beautiful mind is included. And then below us, we've got the earth. And so that beautiful platform of the earth supporting and loving us and holding sacred space. So you have a structure that is light and but yet beautiful and easy for you to be able to identify the milestones or the pillars, four pillars of light. So right away, I feel somebody's coming right in and through. There is going to be multiple guests, I think, today. I think there are going to be multiple. Archangel Raphael steps right in and through. So, you know, color is really important. When I talk to you about color, it could be the halo, the aura of this particular spiritual guide, this archangel energy, but it can also be connected to a chakra, energy center of your body. So for you, use your own discernment, and it may be one or the other or both that the color is for. So use your own discernment, practice that when we have our time together here. That green energy is what Archangel Raphael is kind of known for. That's how I kind of know who Raphael is when he comes through. But let's see what the message is from this sacred messenger. Green, we know, is healing. Green, we know, is health and wellness and well-being, very timely. So if you want to hook into that or grab into that energy for yourself and put that right into your heart space and ground that into your physical body, your energetic body, and your mind too, to help your thoughts be healthy and well, then you can do that. But with Archangel Raphael, I'm going to ask, what is your message here today for us? There's also a golden yellow halo or arc from the shoulder above the crown down to the shoulder. So for you guys each get gifted with this from one shoulder above the head to the other shoulder. And this little halo over you is kind of an energy awareness so that your mind, your brain can be held in a space of sanctuary, is kind of how this message is coming through, a sanctuary where it doesn't, the mind and the thoughts are not intended to derail you, but it has become that as your pattern. This is from Archangel Raphael. Your pattern of your thoughts and your thinking mind have become a means of derailing you. And he uses the word derailing. If you guys have your journals or notebooks handy, you might want to write that down. Or if you're watching the replay, write down derailing thoughts, derailing thoughts. A way of identifying a pattern for which you are missing, he's saying missing pieces or missing spaces. So here's a thought, and then there's a gap, and then there's another thought, and then there's a gap, and then there's another thought. So you're missing pieces here. So the thoughts are not scattered, they are patterned, but they're patterned in a way that is not, it's almost staccato. Like kind of just the beat that so you're not getting the fullness of the message. You're not getting the fullness of the thought of all of your thoughts. You're basically not getting the full brain functioning, working, processing. And Archangel Raphael says, I am here to help access all the four parts of your brain and to utilize the four parts of your brain or the four stages of your person to be able to not even integrate so much. He's saying not even integrate, but to be able to function. You need to function fully. You deserve that. You are so worthy of the fullest capacity that you have. Again, this beautiful golden, it's so funny, you guys, because you know what it looks like to me? Because it kind of comes to a point, kind of looks like half an M, and it's a golden half an arch. It's kind of funny because Archangel Raphael, you know, healthy, and I'm thinking McDonald's. And no, I'm not hungry. But this energy arch is a space that Archangel Raphael is honoring. And it's not just for like protection, it's for it's an honoring, like he's saying, an honoring. It's an honoring of all the fullness of your mind. Your mind is brilliant and it is alive with information. And because he says there's a fear space, the fear is creating a gap, whether it's fear of the unknown or fear of the future or just that it's fear. And he doesn't say uncertainty. So the derailment of thoughts, and then he says fear. So if you're looking for a cause, it's fear. So, okay, so Raphael, when I think of fear, I feel it like in my body. Like I feel it like this, like speeding up of my heart or this heat in my body or this tenseness. Like that's how fear to me is like a feeling or an emotion. How is fear in the four aspects of the mind? Because he's saying four aspects of the mind, which we'll see what that is. Maybe he'll share, maybe he won't. I don't know. How is that fear part of the brain or the mind? What is that? Like, can you explain that? Because I think of it as an emotion, fear, but you're saying it's thought. It's part of the mind thought. He says it's the survival instinct, the survival instinct. He said at the base of the brain, it's like, oh, this is so freaking cool. Okay, so I've seen this before. This is like a trauma model. It's like a neo-psychology. It's like a psychology thing, you guys. It's like a trauma type, understanding trauma or understanding brain development thing. That's what it looks like. I'm not going to get deep into it, but he shows me this like upside down pyramid. And at the base, that is like your survival at the base of your brain. Like that connects into the spinal column. So he shows me at the base of your brain, the part of your brain that looks like a little triangle. It literally clicks in to your spine. So it clicks into your spine. And you know what that little triangle looks like? It looks like red root chakra. So it's grounded. So the base of your brain that grounds your mind and your thoughts and all the capacity of your thinking mind into the flow state of your spine, which your spine is the pranic tube, which is the flow of energy in your body, and everything in your body. It's communication in your body. And that little triangle, it's like this base piece, he says, it's the survival. It's the survival instinct mechanism. It's the basic stuff that was created like in utero and the early stages of life, that information was solidified and connected. Because at first it's like, he says, you know how your body is really loose and flexible and little kids can do all sorts of weird stuff? Like a little kid that's like, 15 months old or whatever, and walks or whatever, can fall and their legs are like all over the place. And then they just kind of wind them back up and get up. And it looks like you're like, how they're like so flexible and their whole bodies are just like pliable and they just bounce right off the floor, just get right back up and keep going. And he says, eventually it gets less flexible and more, not structured, more like steel. He says it moves from this flexible, fluid, almost like Gumby, like you guys, like rubbery material into a very solid, and it's rigid. He says rigid form. And he says forum, F-O-R-U-M, forum. Interesting. I think that's intentional. Yes, indeed it is. Yes, it is. Pay attention. Write that in your journal. Forum. So when you start early on, you're just this like flexible, fluid, really your body is that way, you're so that way. And then as you grow, you start to get put into your little places. You're clicking into your places and it gets more rigid and less flexible. Interesting. Which we know, everybody knows that, right? Like that's biology. That's how your body grows and stuff. But he says your mind is exactly the same way. So the base, what you're grounded into, what you're rooted into that connects to the rest of your body, your spinal column, is the base that informs the rest of the patterns that come in. So anything, he says, that comes in thereafter, like maybe year 2, he says, year 2-3, anything that happens thereafter, it gets added on to this. And eventually, the mind is like a funnel, and the different parts of the mind are being categorized or segmented. And some of the things that you determine to be difficult for you or ill, have caused you ill will or harm, they get put into separate compartments, components. If they are categorized or grouped together, they become a very large divide within you, within your mind, which creates more than just a staccato, but huge gaps. And he says, even in your memory, there could be huge gaps, or there could be spans of life that you just can't really remember stuff. Not that there was anything traumatic or tragic that happened during that time, you just can't remember it. It's not like really memorable or meaningful because there are some major other things that have been collected and that have grouped together and been stuck into one spot. He says it's not supposed to work that way. The patterns are supposed to be able to put things into different spots based upon the energy for which you have come to this earth to experience and then express. You must experience different, a diversity of things so that you can create an expression of self that is most purely in alignment with the God that you came in with, the God, creative source, force, energy that you came in with. He says with the God that you came in with. That's what Raphael just said. Now, if you're familiar with any of like Wayne Dyer's work, where he talks about I am, or the I am presence, and the I am that I am, is the I am is the God. Like I am God, you are part of God. And you've heard me talk about that, like that speck of God inside your solar plexus. That's what Raphael's saying, the God that you came in with. The God that you are is what I would say. Okay? It's the God that you came in with. Yikes. Okay. As soon as I said that, I just literally felt this like, shoo, like expansion of energy in my solar plexus. So I invite you to feel that. Feel your belly and your tummy and honor your gorgeous belly. Even if we've got a Buddha belly, we've all, if we've had too much Doritos or some donuts and things, or like me and had some Moscato repeatedly the last 5 weeks every evening, the belly gets a little Buddha-like. That's okay. It's okay. Don't focus on the imperfections of the body. Focus on the softness of the belly and feel your tummy and that spark of God, that speck of God that you are, that beautiful white dot inside, that like glitter speck right inside that belly. Just feel that glitter speck right inside that belly. And feel the golden halo energy that's around that. We've got, here comes another gold circle. Here we go. Here comes another gold. It's not another golden arch, but it's a circle. And the energy of the circle is about the connection. And the energy of the circle is about beginnings and endings, the balancing of life, the rhythm of life, the flow of life. This is a constant. This is what will keep you centered and connected. This is what will help you to understand all of the patterns that are moving through you, whether they be in the mind, like Archangel Raphael is talking to us about, or whether it be in a heart space, like we started our session together today with, or in that solar plexus, that spirit chakra, that God center of you. All right. Oh, you guys. Okay. Okay, so the 4 parts of the mind, I'm curious about that. So we talked about one of them. Is there anything additional we need to know about that? He says the only thing that is most pressing is the creative center. He says creative central. I don't know if I'm just not, I don't think I'm not interpreting the energy correctly. I think that literally he's saying things differently on purpose. Is that accurate? Yes. Why? Because he wants us to think differently. He wants to disrupt the thinking patterns. So we are forced to connect in a new way through our minds, through our thoughts, through the concepts that are being introduced here or amplified. Okay. All right. So creative central, what is that about? It's about bringing a unity and bringing through a unity and a resonance. Okay. What resonates with you? It does come from a collaboration with the mind, he says. And now I'll introduce my friend, Archangel Gabriel, to come in and speak about this. All right, so now we're shifting. Another pillar. Archangel Gabriel happens to be that gold yellow solar plexus color. that awesome chakra, that solar plexus energy, that speck of sun chakra that you are. And so of course this color will be gold, golden rays of the sun chakra energy. I love Gabe, you guys. You probably know that if we've worked together. Gabriel's so easy to talk to for me. And it makes sense, right? Because what are we doing? We're channeling and connecting here. And he does communication and connection. Those are his two jobs. When I've been working with him, those are his specialties. He does have lots more things he can work with, like women and children. So mother-child connection. He also is an advocate for family. And so communication relationships within a family unit, whether it be extended family or in your personal. So he has a lot of different jobs. Entertainment, so anything public speaking that you have to do, or anything that if you are someone that creates music or is like a musician or that kind of a thing, Archangel Gabriel you're probably very familiar with Gabriel. All right, so can you talk to us about this message? So Raphael is shifting us over to you to talk about this creative central. Can you talk to us about that a bit? He said, it's never been a better time. It's never been a better time. He says, it's never going to be a good time either. It's never been a better time, but it's never going to be a good time. It's never going to be a good time. He says, it's never going to be a good time to start something new. It's never going to be a good time to have kids. It's never going to be a good time to have family. It's never going to be a good time to change jobs. It's never going to be a good time to put your house on the market. It's never going to be a good time to take that class. It's never going to be a good time. He says time is not, it's not what you think in the mind. It is not so linear. It is much more cyclical. Like he's showing me like a spiral, like time is like a spiral is what he's showing me. And it's not a spiral this way. It's a spiral this way, showing me like the big, like a spring, like the funnel almost in the mind that Raphael talked about, but it's a spiral and it goes down and down and down and it gets smaller and there's a little point. So what's the point of this spiral? It says the creative models, the creative models that are expressed in your external world are really not for everyone. There are only bits and pieces that you can use. You have to really take the whole thing apart and figure out. He's showing me like IKEA furniture where there's so many pieces. And as long as the thing sticks together, it's fine. Like literally nothing lasts forever is like the energy he's saying. And he's like, you don't have time to follow somebody else's off the box, out of the box way. This is the time for you to be open, really open to whatever ideas are presenting themselves to you. And he says, this isn't new. None of this is new for you. It's not new. Don't pretend like, oh, I've never heard this before. Oh, what is Bridget saying? I've never heard anything about being creative and expressing myself in the world or sharing my gifts. Oh, God forbid I share my gifts. Not GIF like GIF, by the way. He clarified that. But you can use a sense of humor with Gabriel because he loves it and he's awesome and lighthearted that way. So talk to us about this. This is a serious thing for us, Gabe. There was a lot of SHI going down in this world. And there's pressure on people like me and pressure on people like you, isn't there? Aren't you feeling pressure? Aren't you kind of getting over it? You're feeling pressure from health and how you should take care of your body. You're getting pressure from managing your household. For God's sakes, grocery shopping just got a lot more complicated. I mean, really, some of us hated that in the first place. Like, we have a lot going on. There's so many, and there's so much different stuff. Like, we're just really like, what the heck, you know? How are we going to have time to be creative? Start writing a book or start a new business or something. What the F is going on, Gabe? You got to fill us in. Because so he's so funny. He's like, well, Bridget, tell me what you really think. Tell me what you really think. Tell me what you really think. Like, don't hold back, Bridget, or anything. He literally sits back. He has a gold coffee cup and he goes, oh, really? Tell me what you think, Bridget. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of pressure, you guys. Don't you agree with that? I agree. I mean, hello, there is. And like, where can we focus? Like, if you're ADD, and lack of focus before and couldn't stick to your priorities or goals before, now you're really going to feel like a loser. Like that's the vibes, okay? And Gabriel's like, yeah, like he's just adding on, like he's adding fuel to my fire of the frustration. But we're also being funny about it a little bit too. So seriously, Gabe, what can we do? Give us some insight, because you guys are creative and you're creators, which means you have the power to connect and influence through your connection, whether it be through your kids, whether it be through your jobs, whether it be here, because you're not just connecting here now to other women in this energy vibe as higher selves collaborating, coming together, but you're also connecting inside with your God inside, right? Your God, goddess, universe inside you, okay? Give us some insight, please. I would love to know. What is, you said education. Educate. Okay, what does that mean? Knowledge. You have formed so much. You have already gathered and collected so much. You are not limited in the least. If you feel fragmented or distracted, that's you feeling fragmented and distracted. Those are old patterns. You've been there, done that. And now you're just tired of it. Aren't you tired of it? So maybe it's time to just kind of sweep that aside. Are you suggesting, Gabriel, that we start fresh, start new? Renew your commitment. Recommit. Don't you guys have like the reunion ceremonies or the unification ceremonies? Like when people get married, this is funny. He's kind of referring to something. I was going to post this on a Fairy Grasshopper today, but I didn't yet. I was going through a bunch of old stuff because I like cleaning out some stuff from my business and stuff. And I'm an ordained minister. I'm certified or licensed to do weddings in the state of Minnesota. And I kind of laughed about that. You know, I'm like, oh, like vow renewals and actual marriages and all that stuff. And I thought, I don't think people are going to be wanting to get married right now necessarily, you know, kind of a thing. And so he's referring to that, and he's saying, you do that with yourself. With creative, you came here to be a creator. That's what you are. It doesn't matter if you're doing an Etsy shop or a life coach or have your own marketing business. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't even matter. You know, maybe you make quilts and you're just giving them to friends right now. And maybe that's something you could actually get commissioned for and make a quilt for somebody else. And then it's a little bit of you expressing your energy, your gifts into the world and actually receiving back recognition, love, gratitude, and maybe even money from that. And so it's all of these things all at once. And he's saying, do a reunification, renew your vows with yourself. That's what time it is, my friends. That's what time it is to renew our vows with ourselves. There's not one thing you guys came into this lifetime to achieve, to accomplish, or experience, but many things. I have said this for a bazillion years and in probably every one of my lifetimes, and I'll continue to do that when we come back around next time, you guys. So you might get tired of hearing it, but you don't have one purpose. There is not one secret purpose that you have to figure out in order to be happy, fulfilled, connected, and awesome in your life. You have so many reasons for being here. You have so many things that you want to experience, so many connections, so many things that you want to do. That's what makes this life, this unfolding process. And that's why there are patterns, so we can identify that and we can leverage what our feelings are about the energy of our priorities, not assigned to us by society, but within us, that came in through us, through the God in you, through the universe in you. And so the reunification ceremony is like you and you get in total and complete relationship with yourself. And that's where you're going to create. That's where you're going to be able to connect. That's where you're going to share your gifts, because you can't not then. It's like breathing. You can't not do it. You cannot share it. You cannot be the best version of yourself. If you are connected, if you know, you can't pretend to not know anymore. It's like awakening. Like you can't pretend to not know, because guess what? Then it's going to feel worse. Avoiding or ignoring the most beautiful parts of yourself are like ignoring God, or like ignoring miracles. And there are miracles. It's like ignoring the purest forms of connection and not seeing the beauty and the simplicity and the rhythms of life and the cycles of life. Like today is May, and thank God. I look outside yesterday on May 1st, and the browns and grays of the winter trees actually had all these green buds, and it literally seemed like overnight. Big buds, like big, they're big enough now that I can see them. And when I can see them, I know that things are changing. The rhythm of nature is supporting us. But it's not this external expectation that we have to find our little, here's a triangle peg, and I'm trying to find a place to plug it in. Here's my piece of this puzzle of this earth life human experience, and I need to find here's my piece. Oh, please, that would be so boring. Do you really think as complex, multidimensional beings of light, that we would actually be okay with just one thing? No. No. So Gabe, you're suggesting that we connect with the deeper part of ourselves. It's not deeper. It's not even deep. It's just below the surface, especially right now. Why do you think you're all over the place? He said, because it's right here. It's just right here. It's just right below the surface. It's just right below the surface. And there's not one thing, there's many. And it's not about picking, choosing one, or focusing on one. It's not even about that. It's just about allowing the things to pop up, like different colors of flowers popping up. Like if you planted bulbs in the fall and now they're popping up, you don't know necessarily what colors all those different flowers were. If it's like a mixed bag of bulbs like tulips and they come up and they're all different colors, that's what it's like, you guys. So this is the time to experience that, to allow it to unfold. And he shows me red, the color red, and the color yellow. And red is that rich energy of grounding, that base of the brain, that grounding root, the base of our tailbone, that grounding root chakra, that rich red in our heart space that we have connected to from the beginning of our session time together today. That. And that golden yellow is that positive optimism, that renewed sense of curiosity and interest and discovery that is completely here and ready for us. It's ready for, and I want to be really clear, because then he says this, and I feel it. Then I see Archangel Michael step right forward, and he says, choice. Archangel Michael comes in. Wow. Okay. It's like, okay, now the teacher came in the room. Let's see if we better pay attention, I guess. All right. So Archangel Michael comes in with his beautiful sky blue energy. Little bit of yellow. He actually has like yellow chords, almost like college chords, like graduation. This is that time of year, graduation, right? And that is majorly different than it's ever been before. But does it stop the actual graduation from happening, the actual ending of the school year and leaving the whole experience of childhood, the primary school, the high school behind, and stepping into the next part of life? Does it stop that just because you can't go through the ceremony, just because you can't walk across the stage or arc over that bridge? No, it doesn't stop any of that. Life continues to move and flow and cycle. It cycles and it moves and it flows. So wherever you're at, even if you've been stuck at home for the last 2 months, life is continuing to cycle and flow and move while your mind is getting reorganized. And why your body is being forced into stillness, more so than before, perhaps. And why your heart and your emotional energy has been overactive. When your mood is really subject to the slightest sense of sensitivity or change, you've had an opportunity to get to know the depths of yourself and your abilities to find ways to be connected. So Archangel Michael steps in, and Michael is like, this is your choice. This is your choice. It's your choice. Don't let anybody on YouTube or anybody on your Facebook pages or your families or your well-meaning coworkers try to be like, hey, you should be reading all these books. Hey, you should be learning how to skydive well. Hey, you should be learning how to skateboard. Hey, you should be spending all this quality time with your kids. Hey, you should be learning how to cook. Hey, no, I should be spending time with me as best I can. As always. People are still working. Life still is going on. It's still flowing. It's still flowing, but you are at choice with how you want to connect to your creative energy, your creator energy, and how you want to express that. And he's like, Gabriel was really about connecting that creator energy to your gifts, to what you have that's just below the surface. That's really, really, you guys, you can touch them right now. You can touch your gifts right now because everything is close. Everything is close, really close. And Michael says, you are safe. You are safe in the sanctuary. You are safe. When you choose to go out, you are safe. When you choose to stay in, you are safe. It is your choice. It is your choice. He's not talking about physical body. He's not talking about illness. He's saying in expression, when you choose to go inward and reflect and journal, and even if emotions come out that are heavy or you remember stuff that you are like, what the F was that? And you need to go talk to a counselor or a social worker to help you through the process of really unpacking that so you can clear it from your body for once and for all, then do that. Then do that. You are at choice. You are at choice. Now more than ever, you have freedom. You can express yourself externally, however you choose to, or internally. And you can do both. You can do both. Right? So Michael's message is about choice. And it feels like freedom of choice, the freedom in the choice. Choice is free. It doesn't cost you anything. Choice is free. Choice is free. Okay. My practical mind is going, okay, but what about people that like have their spouses that lost their jobs or can't pay their rent or have to go to work every day? Like I have a client that's a researcher and she literally is working on one of the vaccines. I'm like, holy mac, that is amazing. Like, I'm like, wow. And she's like, I don't know what these people are talking about. She's like, I am more busy than I'm so busy and so stressed out at work. I can't even. She's like, I can't even. And I go home at night at 10 o'clock and I'm like, I got to get back there as soon as I can because I got to keep working on this because lots of people need this. You know, this could literally save lives. And I'm like, so the practical part of me is like, okay, I need an archangel that can come in and tell us, really? Like, this is all great and it feels so good, but how do we really do this? Like, how do we really be our best versions of ourselves right now? What really is it time for? Where should I be spending my time? Where should I be focusing my energy? I mean, I get that I have choice. I get that I'm creative. I get that my mind, you know, is staccato right now. I get that. I get that. So can somebody come in and be a little practical with us? Give us some real specifics or some actual advice that we can like, you know, take to the bank and cash in? I mean, am I so wrong asking for that? I have two archangels that just walk forward. Archangel Hamill steps in and says, Bridget, it's so sweet of you to ask. Archangel Hamill is a beautiful peach colored energy, like a Georgia peach, like a fancy lady in the South is how she reminds me of. And she smells so good, like rose energy of light rose, just real sweet, very divine feminine. And then with her comes Archangel Ariel as well. So Ariel is purple, advocate for your spirit. She's a strong woman. She's like business minded, very organized. Both of these women are aspects or represent aspects of who we are as people. Okay. So Hannah, it's very sweet of you to ask, she said. The restlessness that you're expressing is related to the kindness, to the depth of your ability to be as kind with yourself as you are with others, as polite, as loving, as gentle that you are with others. And then I literally see like a cat, like petting a cat. So whether it's your pets or your loved ones or your grandkids or whoever it is, to be as gentle with yourself as you are with others. This purpose will serve you well. It's not as much about the external action as you well know. It's much more about the way in which you feel and the flow of all of the goodness that you are. That part of your nature, that's how you become the best version of yourself. I know, because my brain is going, you guys, my brain is going, really? That's so cliche. But she's like, I know. I know that you can't understand this with the mind. You must experience it. You must feel it. That's a part of you that you are. You really are. As a sensitive, empathic being, you really are kindness. You are the pure flow of kindness, of loving wisdom. So much alchemy is here in the loving, natural part of who you are. But you don't see this as a priority. You don't see this as a treasured gift. You don't. And we understand that. We don't mean any judgment by that. But we know that it is difficult to recognize this within yourself. It's much, much easier for you to give to others than it is to really be in that state of flow within yourself and to receive. It's not something that has been given to you, it is a part of you. That loving kindness, that nature, that is you. That is you. That is the purest, best part of you. She's literally going to make me cry, you guys, because her love is so beautiful. Can you feel that love? She brings in such a caring that it humbles me because I don't feel like I have that much caring. Like, I don't feel like I have that much, like as much as she brings in, I don't feel like I have that. Like, that's not like the fullness of me. I don't know that I've actually tapped into that. And I think that's a message for us. There's so much more potential of that kindness that we want for other people, that we post in our quotes on Instagram, that we share in our pictures of nature, of the dandelions in the backyard and say, this isn't a weed, it's a beautiful flower. That we are all those things. And this is apparently a time that we're supposed to acknowledge that. And that's the practical application of what's up right now.